that was beautiful. And that was what we call life. That was God. I just got to thank Travian and all the BMe staff for even inviting me to do this. I got the call. It was already enough to get calls for scholarships and all this. It was just, it's been an insane journey since being a BMe Leader 2015, last year. So just to have the platform to bring yoga to you all, like this is what it's really about for me. I want to change the face of yoga. It comes from us anyway, comedic yoga. It comes from us, but largely we're not into it right now. So, so my thank yous are very sincere, and well, you'll see why. Why yoga? For me, when I'm 43 years old, when I was 30, is this one? I don't need to be there. You can hear me, right? So when I was 30, I broke up with my ex, and I had a 2-year-old daughter, but doctors wanted to put a pacemaker in my heart. And ironically, the thought I had was, well, I don't want to have a pacemaker because I got a daughter. I want to be able to play with her. And it was that simple. So while talking to people, my heart would just stop, like literally right now. And I would play it off because pride is a foolish thing. So I'd go, try to get my heart to come back on. So I finally had to go to ER, and they had no idea what was wrong with me. And I was a freelance filmmaker at the time, so I didn't have any insurance. So they kicked me out the hospital. But before they did, the night before, I had stayed up 30 hours. I was scared to go to sleep. I've been raised Catholic and a Christian. I was scared to go to sleep. And I made one sincere prayer to God. I was like, God, if you wake me up in the morning, I wouldn't let my parents come. My brother was still alive. I wouldn't let them come to the hospital to see me because I didn't want to make it real, right? And I said, no, I'm going to get out of here. But I said, if you wake me up in the morning, I will change my life. I'll change my ways. So I didn't wake up in the morning. The nurse woke me up, and I scared the crap out of her when I opened my eyes because she poked me. She thought I was dead. The heart monitor went off, and my heart had stopped. So I woke up to someone poking me like a tender steak, right? And when I looked at her, she said, oh, she said, Mr. Bell, I thought you were sleeping. Something must be wrong with the machinery. So I was like, yeah. So I had the oxygen mask on, and I was like, yeah. But the next day, I went down to get a sonogram of my heart, and that kind of stuff makes me queasy, right? I don't want to see all of that. But the guy that was doing the sonogram, the technician, was amazing, right? So he said, man, I've seen some bad hearts. And I was like, I know it. And he was like, and yours is not one of them. He was like, look at it. And I was like, no, man, I'm good. I was trying to be hard, preserve the Northeast Baltimore way. He was like, no, I need you to look at it, really. And so I looked at the screen. He said, it's beautiful. So I got to see my own heart beating on the screen, on the TV screen. And I was like, yeah, I guess it is kind of handsome. I don't know, what the hell do you say about a heart? so I looked at my heart beating. But that moment was significant because I connected with something deep inside me, because the heart cells start forming, and even when they're in other parts of your body, they're beating before the brain is formed. I've been there for the birth of 3 of my kids, delivered 3 of them. I have 6, delivered 3 of them. And this last one here, Hampton, scared the bejesus out of me. He was born breech, unassisted birth, so just me, God, and my wife. Yeah, and I didn't have a place to stay when he was born, so it was on the living room floor of my boy's house. So when I came in, it was just a foot dangling. And I was like, oh, man, another come to Jesus moment. But we'll get back to that. I got out of the hospital, and I still wasn't done yet. My heart would still stop, and I would stare at my ex and my oldest daughter, who was still 2 then. I would stare at them every night because I didn't want to leave them. You know what I mean? And I was like, dang, every time I go to sleep, I may not wake up. And I remember thinking, I really gave my life over to God because my father's a yogi. He's been doing it since the 60s. He's 75 years old. And Lake Montebello is a place in Northeast Baltimore. I run there, so I started running. I started juicing. I gave up smoking weed. And you know when you have a problem with weed, when you replace your pictures of Jesus with your pictures of cannabis, when you had that big, you know, when you start putting Bob Marley, I'm serious, when you start doing that, that's when you got a problem with weed. So I had a problem with weed. Yeah? There was no Jesus around me, there was just weed plants. Yeah. So I gave up, I gave up drinking, and I started juicing, and I started running. But one particular day I was jogging, and I saw my dad in the distance, and I was like, oh yeah, I was such a punk. I said, today is the perfect day to die. It was a beautiful day. The wind was blowing, and my dad was there, and I said, I'm gonna run over to him. He don't know, because my heart had stopped like 3 times running around. I said, I'm gonna just go lay in his arms and leave. Yeah, so I ran over to him, and he was like, hey, Chang. Hey, and I was like, hey, Pop. And we talked, and he was like, man, I'm so proud of you. You look good. You're getting back. And, you know, something in our conversation, I said, all right, I'm going to do this. And I ran off, and I'm still here. So I turned to yoga and healthy living as a way, and this is partly why I evangelize about it and why it's so important to me now, as a way to improve my life. So I'm a Georgetown University certified health coach, and this is one of the biggest tools we use. It's called the Illness Wellness Continuum. Now, when I was getting certified, the thing that bugged me the most is that thing to the left. I don't know if you can read it, but it says premature death. So that bugged me out. I was like, premature death? You can die prematurely? So everything to the left is you'll have signs, symptoms. You know, that's like you're getting signs, you know, maybe a little extra belly fat. You're getting symptoms. You get little dizzy spells. So before you have to get a foot removed for diabetes, before you have the massive coronary, you always get the symptoms first. So that's where mindfulness comes in, to be able to know what's going on in your body. And then notice what's to the right of the continuum. Awareness, education, growth, and what they call high-level wellness. High-level wellness. My oldest daughter is 17, and I had a weak moment 2 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I said, hey, let's go get at least some fries. We don't do fast food. Let's go get some fries. When's the last time you had Burger King? My daughter said, I don't know. I think I had it once. So I celebrated myself. We got to stay out of fast food, not even for a minute. There's nothing fast about it. It's a fast death is what it is. So yoga, this is my yoga studio in Baltimore. That's my rope wall. I built it. That's one way for people that can't do headstands. You can get in the ropes and hang. That separates your vertebra. So what yoga really is, it's a science. So it can go with any belief system. You are messing with your endocrine system, you're messing with your nervous system, and you're messing with your skeletal and muscular system. So those are some of my students. We're going to get into it in just a second. I want to make sure. So as Jason pointed out, I turned to yoga because my dad modeled it for me. So the best way to educate anyone is to model that behavior, because especially kids, they're going to see you. Like the one thing I'm working on now is swearing, because I noticed that being a yoga instructor is kind of like being a man of the cloth. People hold me to higher standards. I don't realize it, and so I get a little Baltimore sometimes, and they're like, yoga teacher, I don't know if I'm going to his yoga class. So that's what it's about. So I went from having that 1-2-year-old, and as I mentioned, so 13 years later, I've been married to my wife for 9 years. I say 10, because I knew I was going to marry her the minute I saw her. So we've known each other 10 years. She's not in the picture. She took the picture finally. So there's Harlem on the left, Hampton with the little suit on, Hagen, Harley, and Hendricks. My oldest daughter, son. So 4 daughters, two sons. And it is literally the foundation of what I do. We homeschool them, and we do all of this stuff for them. Me being here is for them. This black male coalition is for them. So involve your kids in your healthy lifestyle. I'm going to share some basic practices today that we can do to sort of help us become more aware of our bodies and what's going on in them. Like, so that you know when to go get a checkup. When something's wrong. And it has to be balanced with the doctor. So my doctor, they told me to go see a cardiologist for a year. After that, and just one day they said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it and don't come back in. Literally, that's what the cardiologist told me. They were like, what are you doing? I said, I'm drinking carrot juice every day, a clove of raw garlic every day, and just trying to eat whole. Now I've been vegan, I call it Chigan. I've been vegan for about 2 months because I still cheat. I have seafood. Yeah, chicken. So that was my daughter's picking collards out of my mother-in-law's garden 2 weeks ago. Involve your wife. So that's us doing acro yoga in our living room. So you can involve it. It becomes a lifestyle. So yoga is a lifestyle, just like Kung Fu. You just pull everybody in it. And I'm telling you, fellas, there's nothing sexier than acro yoga. Yeah. Yeah. And look, that's why I don't flash too many pictures of that. So the Yoga Sutras, you can pick a couple of sutras. Sutras are like Psalms. One that I like to live my life by is pleasure leads to desire and emotional attachment. That one sutra alone helps me keep myself out the bachelor parties and out the clubs, because pleasure, just like it's a human experience. It's going to lead to emotional attachment. And unless you are already a yogi, it's hard to contain the emotions. So I don't want to go too long. A lot of us are already practicing yoga and we don't know it. We're living yogic lifestyles. My brother Sean, living a yogic lifestyle. We don't necessarily have to call it yoga. So it's just a way of living, a manner of living, adhering to some disciplines, some kind of social values, and some kind of personal values. Random picture of greens. So daily practice. Do your daily practice. I want to invite everybody. The reason I thought it was so beautiful is that we're hyper-masculine, especially the men that were raised by women, hyper-masculine. I don't know how many times I have to correct, and yes, I'm going to say the term correct, some ladies that are working with some of the kids I'm working with. I'm like, I'm a man and I wouldn't do that. Why are you doing that to him? So, and usually, and I'm a little guy and I used to want to be bigger and, play football. I had to play against brothers like that, and that's why I stopped playing football. Right there, those headaches, But generally, when I'm working with juvenile offenders and stuff, I already know who to attack. The first one I come in the room, I go up to the biggest guy. He's wearing his armor. He's the one who's been harassed the most 9 times out of 10, not always. He's the one who's most vulnerable. It's a little confident one with a couple love handles, a little shorty in the back that's usually the rough one. He's the commander. So it's about balance, embracing your maternal side, your softer side. Being vulnerable takes way more strength. I made the ugliest cry ever in front of my wife because I struggled with that, and I finally did. I wish I had just cried some other time. I had the ugliest public cry ever. I mean, it was mad, it was bad. So be vulnerable. Just go ahead and cry, man, let it out. It's all love. And if we can't love each other, who's gonna do it? Who's going to do it? Certainly ain't the cops. Certainly ain't any other body of people. We have to love each other. So yoga is about loving yourself first. Making that connection with yourself. Brothers are representing it already, but it's just about balance. So it's not to go too far to one side, too far to the other, just balance. You're really unifying your mind, your body, and your soul. So let me just have everybody sit in a chair. We're just going to go right. Usually you do some physical practice to help center your mind. But because we're on time, we're going to, yeah, I'm getting the time warnings. We're going to go right into a meditative practice. I have an affirmation meditation. It's just like 9 minutes. So we'll do that if we can cue that up. If you close your eyes and sit in what's called the Egyptian posture, it's helpful if you take off your shoes. You don't have to. You want to ground your feet, hips width distance apart. You want to have your palms face down on your knees. You want to sit up tall. All of this is going to take effort and energy. Yes. Thank you. Try to stay awake. You'll close your eyes, you'll go within. I'm going to do it with you. Affirmations. Affirmations are a connection. Turn it up a little. To mind, body, and soul. So you're here. They help integrate, making a connection. Eyes closed and just listen to the words. Many physical diseases originate in mental and spiritual disharmony. Man's world is spirit manifest through words, and words are vibrations of thoughts. So we want to avoid speaking unintentionally. We want to rid our thoughts and our vocabulary of unpleasant words. Our words must be crafted according to our character. They should reflect our values and our heart. And the minute they don't, disharmony is the outcome. So there are 3 keys to having successful affirmations: strong will, an attitude of devotion, and faith. You may want to think of an affirmation as a hook to a song. In popular music today, we have a phrase or a simple word that repeats. Well, affirmations can be the hook to your life's song. And recall that you lay in the awareness between the thoughts, between the words. Your truest and highest self is the choice, the awareness of choosing between good and bad, right and wrong, left and right. So we'll use our affirmations to heal many chronic mental and physical disorders, for they all have a deep root in the mind. And affirmations bring about a positive force of life energy known as prana. It is prana that will heal the body, prana that takes over and brings that life energy, that state of equanimity back to the soul. So yoga teaches us the art and the act of concentration, which brings about meditation. And before both of those states, we can use affirmation to bring about focus and a sense of homeostasis in the body. So let's deal with 3 common ailments, and we'll have an example of an affirmation to heal that ailment. One such thing is overeating. Now, in meditation, you don't always have to just think the thought that you're trying to heal. Often, meditation can be one resounding question, one powerful question. So you might think, why do I overeat? Perhaps it's because each day you're overcome with feelings of lack, feelings and thoughts of not being enough, not having enough. And so you eat to feel more complete, to feel full, to feel whole. When those feelings are entering the mind, when those thoughts are overcoming the body, you might affirm, I am complete. I have all I need to adequately take care of myself and my family. I am whole. Another common issue is promiscuity, or using sex to fill a void. Perhaps I feel disempowered in my life. I may have thoughts of powerlessness, lack of money, lack of respect. But sex momentarily makes us feel whole, makes us feel complete. There's a fleeting sense of a connection with a higher power. But often, after the sex act is finished, we're left feeling empty and disempowered. The affirmation to combat or to counter such feelings of inadequacy is, I am complete. I am powerful. The same inputs available to billionaires of the world are available to me. I am in control of my life, and I choose success and power to move freely in this world. And another common challenge is anxiety. Anxiety stems from lack of control and lack of faith. Otherwise known as fear. So when I have fear, I have no control over my life. I begin to feel anxious. I have thoughts of failing, thoughts of dying a failure, of not providing for myself or my family. I panic and move to keep busy. I may clean, I may just do meaningless action, but it's all out of fear, and I'm anxious. An affirmation for anxiety: I am secure in God, and God is secure in me. My actions produce the fruits of my thoughts. If I want success, abundance, money, and power, I need only to think money, power, success, and abundance, and it shall be done. I am powerful. So recall that to be successful in your affirmations, to use the 3 keys to success. Have strong will, your willpower, connecting to your words. Have an attitude of devotion. Use affirmations daily until you see the change that you hope to see in the world. And finally, all is useless without faith. You must believe in your personal power. You must believe in your connection to a higher power. Sat Nam. All right, you can flutter your eyes open gently. Come back into your body. So namaste means the God or the light in me recognizes the light in you. Gentlemen, it can't get any brighter in this room. So I'll just leave you with that. God in me recognizes God in you. There is no separation. You are God. Everything we're sitting in was a product of imagination. Imagination creates creation. This is all ideation. It's building everything. You are God. So create something. Leave here. Create something special. Your own reality. And then ask us to join in. I love you all. Thank you very much.